China drops a massive red pill on single women everywhere. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on YouTube.com, on the New York Times channel, we have a video here. Title, China doesn't like that I'm a single woman. Here's why. Op docs. So, there is a phenomena in China of leftover women. Because of China's one-child policy, currently, the amount of men in the country vastly outnumber the amount of women. And women are encouraged to get married as soon as possible for their own good, because men in China simply, they want a young wife, they don't want an older wife. And I believe this video highlights a lot of the problems with modern feminism, a lot of the lies that feminism tells girls, and a lot of the consequences that a lot of modern women, even here in the Western world, find themselves facing because they have too high standards and they wait far too long. But before we start this video, consider sharing this video with others if you find it insightful, and if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell button for notifications. Links to my social media and websites where you can support this channel can be found down below in the description. So let's begin.
你所谓的合适的人，你希望是个什么样子？
我可能要求就比较高啊。然后比如说，我觉得他应该有受过良好教育的，然后非常重要的一点是他要尊重女性。
So, the video starts off where she says she has high standards and she wants a man who respects women. Now, she also wants a man who's as educated as her. Now, this brings up a very important point that brings up one of the problems with modern-day feminism and one of the problems with the educated career woman. Let me show you an example. Here on The Guardian, the dating gap. Why the odds are stacked against female graduates finding a like-minded man. More women than men are graduating in many countries. In other words, women are ahead in education. And many of these women, many of which who are feminists, still complain that women are oppressed. But according to Dateonomics, a new book on hookup culture, there is a downside. There may be not enough educated men to go around. Is it time to widen the search? I want you to think very carefully about this headline, because if you look at it from the perspective of men, what does this headline really say? Well, it's simple. Men are falling behind in education. Yet, women are the victims. It reminds me of that old joke. Men are falling behind, women most affected. Men are dying in the streets, women most affected. You know, it reminds me of that quote by Hillary Clinton. Women have always been the primary victims of war. Women lose their husbands, their fathers, their sons in combat. Well, I couldn't find the clip because it was Gestapo'd from the internet. I was able to find here on Snopes, a left-wing rag, that it is in fact a true statement. Here you can see, certified true.
从某些方面讲，我说话可能稍微直接，传统意义上她真的是很大的美女啊。不是，首先不是不漂亮，不是美女。第二个，年龄真的很大嘞。
年纪真的很大了啊，
对吧？
但是我觉得我的年龄很好哎。
The interviewer drops a massive and harsh statement on the Chinese lady. We're going to see what happens in the following scene, and we're going to examine exactly what's going on and some of the facts surrounding the reality. Prepare your stomachs, and perhaps introduce some red pills. So here it says, women who are still single at 27 or older are labeled leftover women. We can pretty much say that this is women who hit their 30s. Now, there's been a lot of controversy over age. You see, feminism, and especially modern feminism, seems to be telling women, oh, you don't have to get married. You don't have to find a man. You can have an education and a career, and then when you're in your 30s, you'll magically find a man and you'll live happily ever after. The lie is that, well, you can have it all. But I want to show you some facts that might change your mind. For example, here on abcnews.go.com, for women who want kids, the sooner the better. 90% of eggs are gone by age 30. Dr. Mary Savard, a female doctor, says that women who want kids, the sooner the better. So this is a sad reality of women. Women who start to hit their 30s will have 90% of their fertile eggs gone by the time they are 30 years old. You see, men and women are different. When men produce sperm, that sperm is rather fresh, so to speak. On the other hand, women, when they are babies, contain all the eggs they will ever possess in their entire lives. Eggs are kind of in a sort of hibernation, and when women have their magical time of the months, an egg is taken from hibernation, woken up, and prepared for launch, essentially. But here's the problem with the female production process. The longer the eggs are frozen, the higher chance they have of failing. And this is why both risk of miscarriage and risk of birth defects increases with age. Let me show you a graph. So here you see this chart, the chance for a child with Down syndrome. Here you can see, after age 30, it begins to skyrocket. It remains fairly flat throughout a woman's lifetime and then begins to skyrocket in the mid-30s. In the mid-30s, it begins to blast off. Now, this is simply one defect, Down syndrome, but there are more. So here you can see this chart that says risk of fetal loss from spontaneous abortion, ectopic pregnancy, and stillbirth according to marital age at conception. Now here you can see it is a little bit moderate at age 15, but it goes down until age 20 where it flatlines. A woman remains in her fertile peak until her 30s, and then once she hits 30, it begins to climb until the risk of loss becomes astronomical. This is the reality of what we call the biological clock. Now, another lie of feminism is that, no, women don't have to have kids. They can wait. They can wait until they're 30. They can wait until they're old. They can wait until they build a career. And many people have believed those lies told by feminists. Do you think it works out? Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Here you can see, on glamourmagazine.co.uk, I spent 15,000, what is that, pounds, euro, sterling, some sort of euro currency. I apologize, I don't know the symbol, but it says I spent 15,000 freezing my eggs at 36 and it completely failed. Here's how I coped with a heartbreak. Devastated doesn't begin to cover it. So here's a career woman, probably single, who thought that, well, I'm getting older, I'll just pay money using money I earned from my career to freeze my eggs, and then when I'm older, I can have a child. Now this has happened more than once, and it'll surely happen again. The frozen eggs fail. As I explained earlier, the longer you freeze an egg, the worse it gets. And freezing an egg when it's already hibernating, pretty much, it's like double the risk. So yeah, feminism is lying to young girls. But let's get back to the video, because we have a lot more to talk about.
你是山东哪儿？
滨州吴地啊。
我县城的呀。
啊，这样的好，那我们可以到时候那个过那个放假的时候可以一起回家啊。
对啊，对啊，从大学开始就没想着要回去因为毕竟那个地儿太小了，说实话，发展不起来。
因为我知道山东还是比较传统啊，因为大男子主义是非常严。
So, red flag right here. She is in a date, and it shows the government sponsoring blind dates and events and things, and they've shown like 5 different dates that she's been on, and they all failed. And then they bring up the fact that they have something in common. They both come from the same place, and she brings up male chauvinism. I'm starting to see a pattern here that's very analogous to modern feminism in the West. Women who become educated, women who become successful in life, all of a sudden, they start to think that they're too good for everybody, and their standards are sky high. Now, I wish I was joking. I wish it was just an exaggeration, but this does, in fact, seem to be the case. Remember when I said there's an old joke? Men are falling behind, women most affected? I've got another example. Here we see on the NewYorkPost.com, women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do. Men are poor as shit. Women most affected. Ah, yes. Because men falling behind in education, in the economy, don't you know? The real victim are women. So in other words, women are doing better than ever, but men are failing. And somehow, that means women are victims because they can't find men who make as much money as they do. Now, I wish it was just this, but many of us well know that men and women are different. A man doesn't care if his wife or girlfriend is poorer than him, not successful as him, or younger than him. In fact, I think most men prefer young, healthy wives. But women are not the same. When a woman becomes educated, she will no longer accept anything beneath the same education as her. When a woman makes a lot of money, she will not accept anyone who makes less than her. This is a well-known fact. I'll show you an example if you don't believe me. Here on the Daily Mail, high-flying career women are refusing to marry down, despite struggling to find Mr. Right with similar earning power and intelligence. I'm starting to notice a pattern of entitlement. Ah, yes. Men don't do this. Men are perfectly willing to date any woman who's young and loves him and is a good partner. Women, on the other hand, are different, and I think it's because of evolution and biology. Now, we're not always allowed to talk about differences between men and women, but these are studies conducted in other countries. You can't tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not the one who did the study. Women refuse to marry down, despite the fact that men marry down all the time. There's something psychological within a lot of these career women that, I can't marry someone who makes less money than me. I'm a queen. I deserve a king who makes even more money than I do. And I find it to be a very toxic, negative, and selfish mindset. You shouldn't marry just because someone makes a lot of money. You should marry because you actually like the person and maybe they're going to be a good partner. You can actually build a life together. And then there's also the fact that men who do make more money than them, they're not interested in older, educated career women. They don't care about education and they don't care about career. They care about a good partner, number one, and number two, young and healthy, because a healthy wife can bear offspring. And remember, there's a biological clock. It's a sad reality. So why would rich, successful men want to date career women? Usually they don't. They're gonna find the young barista, the young bartender, the young woman, educated or not, and they're gonna marry her instead. That's a red pill, okay? For men and for women. Now I got more stuff to show you, but let's get back to the video.
因为我知道，然后因为我家其实也是这样子的。那你觉得，就是假如说你成家了，会不会延续这样的一种模式？
我觉得，你要说，就像你说的，每个山东男生都有这种，大男子主义，只是一个轻微一个多少程度的一个东西，一个东西。就是我觉得我在未来的婚姻里面，可能，我还是希望我要占主导地位的。
主导，
对，整个家庭里边占主导地位。我并不是说你比如说钻研我手机是什么，我电视什么情况，可能女生就不要过多的参考了，你只给我提出你的需求就可以了，我来决定。当然了，能平等也好，但是我不希望就是女生比我强太多。很多东西你都一下子就这个女生就去做决定了。
And there you have it, folks. There's a problem here, and I think it's quite clear. The man wants to be dominant. Okay. And this is pretty typical for most men. If you're not a beta male, if you don't drink soy, if you don't munch Impossible Whoppers, if you have testosterone, if you're red-blooded, if you enjoy fan service because, you're a man and not like a little baby. If you are a man, you want to be dominant. That's how it is. That's how most men are. They want to be dominant in the relationship. Modern feminism tells women that they should be just like men, that they should be dominant. Well, newsflash, most men do not like dominant women. Unless they're really tall and have big thighs and muscle. That is an exception.
19万是真丑，你这个事儿。
真丑啊！
你道理咱说你国家个法律上还是20多岁就结婚的，你都到30多了，你还到外头人一问，哎呀，我都没法说。
也搞对象还不搞了嘛？问题就是不想结婚。
就上啥？
就上啥了？你光知道。
So her entire family keeps telling her, you need to get married. The law says you should get married in your 20s. We've seen her on a lot of dates and they all failed miserably. And I'm starting to wonder, maybe someone is the problem and maybe it's not the men. But, beyond that discussion, I just got to point a few things out. I'm going to show you the rest of what I had up for you guys. There's a reason that getting married early for a woman is really, 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 really good advice. So here's a massive red pill and it compares men and women. Here you can see. Not so progressive. Desirability ranking average across 4 American cities. This is from 2014. The higher you are on the graph, the more desirable you are, and the lower you are on the graph, the less desirable you are, okay? So this is desirability over time. And this is basically something called sexual market value, value in dating, however you want to quantify it, and this comes from The Economist. So, here you can see, women are the blue line, men are the red-orange line. So, here at the bottom has the ages, and as you can see, women early on in life start with peak market value in dating, in sex, in relationships. They are on top of the world. Meanwhile, men are down, 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 down. And it really makes a lot of sense when you think about it. When you were a young man, or perhaps you're a young man now, how hard was it for you to date moderately attractive women? Was it very difficult? Was it easy? More importantly, how easy was it for the women to date? Probably no effort at all. Now, I have a post called Your Looks in Your Inbox from OkCupid. This is an archive of the post, as the original was taken down because it exposed some very unpleasant facts. Here, for example, you can see they asked women to rate most men on a scale. As you can see from the gray line, women rate an incredible 80% of guys as worse looking than medium. This is statistically impossible, mind you. According to OkCupid, and this is well known, there's been other studies that pretty much confirm this, women rate 80% of men as lower than average, beneath them. They don't want those men. They want the top 20% of guys. Very harsh, very shallow, very unrealistic, because it is impossible that 80% of men are below average. It makes no sense. Now, if you compare it to the male graph is completely fair. Some women are really attractive, some women are the least attractive, and most women are average. Men are realistic, and surprise, surprise, women are harsh, and honestly, they just want the top 20% of men. This is called the Pareto rule. It's well known, it's true in dating, it shows up everywhere, 80-20. Now, here we have a picture of what happens when you live in a traditional society versus what happens when you live after sexual liberation of women, aka feminism, equal rights, the whole shebang. So in a traditional society where there's more courting, where there's community, where parents will help set up marriages, men at the bottom of the scale are just as likely to find a mate as men at the top of the scale. However, when you lose the traditional family unit, the traditional structure, community, and all that tradition, what you get is the one on the right. You have the vast majority of women chasing a minority of men, around 20%, and all these men get left behind. Not only is this not good for men, it's not good for women. If they're all chasing after the top 20%, odds are they're not going to get them. And doesn't that remind you of the video we've been reviewing? Educated woman who's on top of the world can't find a mate, despite the fact that there's plenty of mates out there. Oh, I'm starting to see patterns, folks. So one of the family members says something extremely harsh. You want a man with high value, but men with high value will probably not be interested in you. Now, this is considered mean, this is considered unprogressive, and this is considered unfeminist. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, it's also true. Just like in the West, men of high value don't want to marry older career women because they don't care about their careers and they don't care about their education. They want a high value woman. Now, going back to the chart of age, you can clearly see women start off very strong in life with high desirability, but once they hit 30, it just goes down. It just plummets. It plummets. Women start out strong in life, men start out weak in life, but the tables turn, you see. As men hit their 30s, they begin to climb and climb, and they hit their peaks around their 45 to 50s. Typically, and coincidentally, this is also when most men build up a career. They reach peak market value. Women, on the other hand, plummet absolutely after 30. This is from The Economist. It's from official sources based on official data. Unfortunately, this is reality. Women are on a clock, both societally, biologically, and figuratively, and literally. So women get a massive advantage early on in life, men get a massive advantage later in life. So if you're out there, you're a young man, and you can't get a woman, and women act like they're so much better than you, well, don't worry, my friend, because the tables will turn. And to the women out there, if you're a young woman, well, you better find a man, and the sooner the better. Don't say I didn't warn you. And, well, if you believe feminism, go ahead and do whatever you want, but don't be surprised when the data comes back to bite you in the bum. I'm just a messenger.
然后你得去考虑这一方面的问题的了。该照照片。
我考虑了，我考虑的结果就是还是单身好。
And I want to make out the point that she might have an easier time finding a date if she would focus on her looks a little bit more. I'm sure men are not turned on by the short hairstyle, and lower her massive standards a little bit. I'm not even talking like, date a loser guy, but at the very least, you might want to just find a nice, decent dude.
你们倒是不较事儿啊，想咋着是咋着。
不就电信挂牵你吗？不就是啊？
你这为啥子呢？你说你啥事从念书那个阶段上来说，再说没，因此你咋啥我是依着你。再说我起黑起5更睡半夜的，这没事了没你都没干，我不就是为了巴结你们吗？
And this is the truth of feminism. This is the truth of, well, the modern West. Women were liberated, they were given rights, they were given equal treatment. In fact, these days, women are being treated better than ever. Many would say even better than men, both lawfully in society, in education, and in careers. They were given everything they wanted and more. And a lot of women ended up single, alone, and society is falling apart. Could it possibly be that if a person is given too much freedom, they're likely to squander it all away? Am I overthinking this? Time will tell.
到45你是个啥概念？你从45到55是个啥概念？我和咱大姐她们哪一个不担心你啊？闹个病闹个灾，你跟谁说呀？谁照应你啊？4成的加薪率，哪一个不成家呀？
Now, I actually side with her family. And the crazy part is if you go to the comment section, everybody's defending the woman. But they have a point. What happens when you get old and then you can't date at all? What happens when you have no man? What happens when you're all alone, you have no family? This is the lie of feminism. You cannot have it all, first of all. Second of all, family is everything. You end up alone otherwise, and if you want to be alone, that's fine. But clearly this woman does not.
所以啊，我无所谓，我可当然无所谓了。你又说了，我要不结婚，你们一个劲儿担心这个担心那个担心，你还有说有个孩子看长大还幸福，这幸福个屁啊！反正我不让你们幸福，对不对？
Now, the story doesn't exactly have a sad ending, but I do feel that the ending of the story proves, well, I think it's another red pill, okay? So, people in the comment section are defending her. They're saying the family's horrible. Oh, she just wanted good advice. Everyone was saying, oh, she's not old, despite being in her mid-30s, blah, 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 etc., etc. I feel like everyone is missing the point, and that's exactly why these red pills are, they're not being told anymore. It's amazing. So the comment section is one big circle jerk. I'm not going to bother with it this time, but I will say this. This is how the story ends. She left China and married some guy in Germany. I don't see how that disproves everyone's points that you should get married as soon as you can. Not necessarily force yourself, but it's a good idea. So she went off and she left and she married some other guy. Congratulations. Good for her. I don't think that invalidates any of this arguments. If anything, I think it proves it. She had to leave her country and find some dude somewhere else to get married. But that's how the story ends. So it's not all bad. She did end up getting married. But there you have it, folks. Everyone is saying that the family's wrong, but I agree with the family. I actually see their concern. I understand where they're coming from. I don't know if she has children. Hopefully she does and she didn't have any complications. I wish her all the best. But let this serve as a red pill to women and men everywhere. You can't stay single forever, because if you wait too long, it's going to be too late. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? It's probably going to take me a while to edit, but I think it's important. I think it's worth sharing. I think it's worth talking about. So be sure to let me know what you think. Is the family wrong? Who's right here? Who's wrong? What do you think the truth is? Be sure to let me know. If you would like to support content like this, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Joining will give you access to a private Discord server. This is a guaranteed bonus as long as you join. You can donate on DonorBox, you can donate crypto. I take Bitcoin, BAT, and Ethereum. Be sure to check out all the links down below in the description. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.